All right, today we're going to talk about how we can find out and how much we can find out and what it takes to get there. So first we have to decide how much do we want to find out. So let's say in this case, I want to find out at a level of 7. Okay, so I find that level on my graph and I come horizontally to my gradient line. Where it intersects with my gradient line, I'm going to come straight down to where it intersects with my fuck around line. That there is going to tell me how much I have to fuck around to find out what I need to find out. See, as you can see, the more you fuck around, the more you're going to find out. And also, if you stay down here and you never fuck around, you'll never find out. So I hope this lesson is helpful. Thank you.
Indeed. Murdoch and the Sun should have stayed at the bottom of the graph. Don't F around and you won't find out. But see, the thing is, nobody's ever really gone up against them in the way that Harry has. Nobody has protected their peace in the way that Meghan has, in the face of all of their shenanigans. They feel so entitled. So entitled. Somebody finally said, no. This is the way abusers behave. Oi, let's get into it. Welcome, everyone. Okay, first thing I want to say, in response to 2 comments that were left on my video, the last video that I did. One person said, and I was quite surprised at the number of people that actually liked this comment. I think almost 20 people liked this comment, that I was belittling Harry's win, or that I didn't see the significance of this win, or that I didn't seem like I was happy about it. I don't know how that came across, but if that's the way I came across, then that's definitely not how I meant to sound. I'm a big believer of the apology has to be as big as the disrespect, and the consequences need to match the actions. Murdoch's camp apologized, yes, and it is significant. It for Harry, the fact that Harry actually got an apology for his mum, the fact that they had to make this public. However, I think for the trolls, the haters, the derangers, I don't think that that apology will resonate. What would resonate with them is if they literally had to see Murdoch and Rebecca Brooks and Piers Morgan dragged to a jail cell. That, in my eyes, would be the consequences matching the actions, not just words. So it's not that I don't see the significance of what Harry has accomplished, but as surely, especially us in this space, we would have wanted more, or we want more, right? I think that's more where I was coming from, and maybe where the misunderstanding came. Obviously now it's down to the British government and the British public. I feel like Harry has lit the flames, but as far as the government is concerned, well, they've been on their knees facing forward for Rupert Murdoch for the last 4 decades. So, it's left to be seen if any action will be taken. What is the British public going to do? I don't know. Call for another inquiry that the British government won't give them. We'll just have to see where this goes. Like I said, I think Harry has lit a flame, and I would like to think that something actually now comes after all of this. certainly, if anything, I think more attention perhaps will be paid to what Rupert Murdoch and his cronies have been doing, what they continue to do, because this is bigger than Harry. This is bigger than this case, of course. The second thing, what was the second thing that I wanted to? Yes. What somebody left a comment. Why would I want it to go to trial? Well, Harry wanted it to go to trial. Harry wanted the public to see the scale of the cover up, because I think that's another part of this. I think a lot of people in their minds, they look at this court case and they just see Prince Harry, um, and they had their own biases because of what the media has fed them, or they still think this is about, that phone hacking thing that happened like 10 years ago. Oh yeah, that. When there's a lot more to this case, and this whole situation. And part of it going to trial was that a lot of it was going to come out. Of course, there is still a chance that that could happen, and I'll get into that in a minute, of the breaking news that's coming in the last hour. But these powerful institutions and these powerful people, we have the right to know what they're doing, um, and the way in which they shape our world, because they dictate a lot of the information that we get. Most people are not actually that media literate. Yes, you're meant to do your research. Yes, you're meant to have a sense of nuance about what it is that you digest, but most people aren't. And to be honest, and I think this is a point that Rahini has made in the past, you shouldn't really have to be. Large institutions that provide information to the public should just be truthful. So whatever it was that was in that case file that Rupert Murdoch and his cronies were trying to hide, we had the right to know. It's just we have laws and a court system that benefits the very rich and the very powerful, where they're able to hide what they're up to. But beyond just what Harry wanted, and Harry wanted it to go to trial, I believe the public also deserve to know. The media literally shapes the way we think. They shape our world. Why shouldn't we have the right to know? Black Queen, you said it's difficult, especially for one or two persons, to take down centuries-old evil institutions. This is the ton that ruined many lives just by hearsay. The UK public is too docile to act. Exactly. Very true. Harry, I think Harry did the most. He took it all the way until the end. So who's going to pick up now? Special Love, who's supporting this media? Well, the media are so powerful that government doesn't want to do anything, because if government actually does anything, and then the media sends their attack hounds in the press, and because a lot of people just believe whatever it is they read, the very people that would try to do something about it, well, you're reading in the press a negative press about them from the press hounds that the government is scared of. So it's just this vicious cycle. Okay, now that I've said that and I've cleared all of that up. Yeah, there wasn't a huge amount of print coverage, just these three that I spotted, but there was wall-to-wall coverage online. Obviously, certain publications, the Daily Fell, the Daily Telegraph, tried to spin it into a loss. They, had their attack hounds online calling it a loss, that Harry folded. It was actually Murdoch that blinked and folded. I mean, they waited until the 11th hour, minutes before this trial was meant to start, to give Harry another offer. An offer they could have given him a while ago. I mean, they're saying 10 million, over 10 million. I don't believe it's that. I believe it's more. I don't believe that they would not have offered him a minimum of 10 million a long time ago. I don't believe that. I think it's a lot more. 10 million, that's pocket change peanuts for Rupert Murdoch. They would have likely offered him this amount before. I don't believe it's 10 million. I think it's more. I think they're actually trying to minimize how much was offered. It's Rupert Murdoch who blinked. Harry did what was best for him, his family, and likely what was advised by his lawyer team. Because 10 million, I mean, Harry and Meghan got what, 100 million for Netflix, millions for their book deals, millions more is coming. So if it had to be that Harry lost 10 million, I think they could afford to lose 10 million. That's why I don't believe that it's this amount. But that's just my theory. But here we have the Independent, the Guardian, and the iPaper did actually put it on the cover. Interesting, they don't. None of them, interestingly enough, actually use Harry's picture. The iPaper uses his lawyer's picture. But major difference between the two brothers, right? William, I'm going to be king. I'm going to get to wear the big fluffy hat with the jewels, with the stolen jewels. And Harry's like, I'm going to vindicate our mother, whom you call paranoid. Indeed. Henry VIII on Twitter saying, because comparisons are being made, one of the reasons Diana refused security was because she thought the palace were spying on her, which it would come out as true. She also thought people were listening in on her phone calls, which it would come out as also true. Harry just secured a public apology and admission of wrongdoing. William, in a scripted statement, referred to his mother as paranoid. That's the difference, indeed. Big difference. Big difference between William Parker Bowles and Harold Spencer. For anyone who didn't understand why Harry's settlement and apology is completely different from William. Right. So just in the last hour, this has popped up. So let's take a read of this. This is in the Guardian. Hang on a sec, folks. Let me just get it on my phone. Oh. Okay, so police request transcripts from Prince Harry's case against owner of the Sun. Campaigners hope for investigation into claims of perjury and cover-ups against news group newspapers. So, the Met Police have requested transcripts of pre-trial hearings in Prince Harry's phone hacking case against Rupert Murdoch's newspaper empire. The Guardian can reveal as fresh calls are made for a new criminal investigation. The development will raise the hopes among press intrusion campaigners of a potential new investigation into allegations of perjury and cover-ups made against news group newspapers, the owner of the Sun. Now, let's just take a step back for a second. Leveson Inquiry, which was cancelled by the then Tory government, was meant to look partly into how the police behaved. Wait, hang on a sec. Let me just So it's interesting that the police are asking for this. Just give me one sec, folks. Okay, so the second stage of the Leveson Inquiry into the press standards has been abandoned by the government. So this was back in 2018. So the Leveson Inquiry, led by Sir Brian Leveson, started in 2011 after it emerged that journalists at Rupert Murdoch's now defunct News of the World tabloid hacked the phone of murdered schoolgirl Millie Dowler The first part of the inquiry looked at the culture, practices, and ethics of the press. The second part was meant to be an investigation into the relationship between journalists and the police. The second part of the investigation was meant to be into the relationship between journalists and the police. So there are things that could have potentially come out about the police which were incriminating about the police being the criminals. I don't know. I don't know if this is going to go anywhere. There's another very interesting thing in this article. How do the arguments of the two sides stack up? Celebrities, including Hugh Grant, who has supported Harry throughout all of this, he was tweeting the other day. He's actually going back and forth in an argument with Piers Morgan as I'm live on this podcast. I'll get to that in a sec. And victims of press abuse say Leveson 2 is necessary to get to the bottom of wrongdoing by the press. Labour's deputy chair, Tom Watson, who was also part of this case with Harry, said not going ahead with the second part of the inquiry was a bitter blow to the victims of press intrusion. Sir Brian Leveson has written to ministers saying the extent of the wrongdoing at News UK has been far greater than the first inquiry was informed, and there is still a legitimate expectation of a full public examination. Matt Hancock, the culture secretary, who was also the health secretary during COVID and the absolute disaster response of the government then, he said at the time that almost 50 million has been spent on press investigations to date, and the goals of the Leveson 2 inquiry have largely been met since the first inquiry. Obviously not. He argued that there have been extensive reforms to policing practices and significant changes to press self-regulation. Hancock said that the press industry faces much greater issues now in the form of the digital age. Well, here we are, and you haven't done anything about that either. So you didn't do Leveson 2, and any changes that should have been made to help with the challenges that we're now in the digital age. This article that I'm reading, by the way, it came out in 2018. The amount of trolling, bot accounts online, we need that Leveson 2 inquiry, and it should include the online space as well, not just the police. Anyway, I brought all this up, not to sidetrack, because if the police are now requesting transcripts, are the police now open to an investigation on themselves? So back to this article. The development will raise the hopes among press intrusion campaigners of a potential new investigations into allegations of perjury and cover-ups. The case between Harry and NGN was settled on Wednesday in just 14 minutes before the trial was to begin with the offer by Murdoch's newspapers. The admission of NGN of incidences of unlawful activities carried out by private investigators working for The Sun was the first time the company has recognized illegality beyond the now defunct News of the World. NGN continues to deny that phone hacking took place at The Sun, the company's flagship newspaper, or that its journalists there were involved in any criminality. The newspaper was edited by Rebecca Brooks, that's the redhead with curly hair, who is now chief executive at NGN. On the steps of the court on Wednesday, the claimant's barrister David Sherborne had further claimed that the disclosures made by NGN over the 5 years that the case had been running offered grounds for a fresh police investigation into perjury and cover-ups. Lord Watson said that he intends to submit a dossier of evidence to the Met Commissioner, Sir Mark Rowley. Now, let me just check. Does Sir Mark Rowley, so that means he must have a he must have an honor from Charles. If he's Sir Mark Rowley, he has an honor from Charles. So Mr. Watson, God bless him, he wants to submit a dossier of evidence to the Met Commissioner, Sir Mark Rowley. The last Met Commissioner also had an honor from the royal family, from Charles. So, and we know how awful she was. And part of the problem with this case is that some of the things that were hidden implicated the royal family. So bless Lord Watson that he intends on doing this, but that's gonna be your first hurdle right there. Is that the police is they are part of this revolving door of corruption. I think we should keep a close eye on that. So sources close to Harry and Watson said the evidence of criminality by executives at NGN um, was almost incontrovertible. The company denies this. Meanwhile, The Guardian understands that the Met has been monitoring the civil case and has made a formal application for transcripts of all of the key pre-trial hearings in which the evidence was discussed. NGN have declined to comment. A Met spokesperson said, "We are aware of the outcome of the civil proceedings. It remains the case that there is no active police investigations into allegations of phone hacking or related matters. We await any correspondence from the parties involved, which we will respond to on due course." Last year, the former Prime Minister Gordon Brown added his voice to calls for a new police investigation over claims that Will Lewis, the now chief executive of the Washington Post, presided over the deliberate destruction of emails at Murdoch UK. Let me tell you, Will Lewis is breathing a sigh of relief for now. Piers Morgan and Rebecca Brooks are breathing a sigh of relief for now. The Daily Fail and Associated Papers, that case is still coming. And I wonder what they're feeling watching all of this. Are they just going to go and settle? Tom Watson, by the way, he tweeted this. "I owe some apologies too. This saga has placed an unforgivable strain on people in my life, from my former wife and mother to my beautiful children and to my wider family and friends. I am sorry that Rebecca Brooks decided you were just collateral damage in their corporate war on elected representatives who sought their accountability. The fight has made me reflect on what it means to settle. Legally, it's a technical term. Emotionally, it's much deeper. I wish I could bring justice for everyone NGN has ruined and bullied, but I can't." Yeah, that right there is why I called NGN's apology to Harry an apology with a small a. I think Mr. Tom Watson has captured my feelings exactly. Someone tweeted this. "Is it time to put Rebecca Brooks and Piers Morgan on trial?" Yes. Put them on trial again. Because the first trial was a farce. During Leveson, both of these individuals were questioned. But we need another investigation. Knowing the scale of the cover-ups, 30 million emails deleted, we need another investigation. Now, Piers Morgan, of course, is having a whole damn breakdown on social media. He tweeted, "So moral crusader Prince Harry took the cash. Will he now be issuing a full apology to the royal family for his own serious intrusion into their lives for personal financial gain? Or is royal intrusion absolutely fine when he does it?" Piers Morgan's wife, by the way, did a whole article on how she was taking a break in her marriage. Because Piers Morgan's wife posted that article, doesn't mean that we have the right to know how bad his breath smells in the morning, the length of his manhood. No, it doesn't. That's how privacy works. Piers Morgan, the alleged phone hacker, and all around POS, knows that. This is the only thing that he can say, the only thing that he can try to pin on Harry. People have the right to talk about their abusers. And that's all Harry did. He spoke the truth about his abusers. Yeah, he's also going back and forth with, I don't know if I'll even bother to read this, but yeah, he's going back and forth with Hugh Grant. Piers Morgan is claiming that Hugh Grant took millions to make movies for Murdoch. That is false. Hugh Grant is saying, BS, the last time I worked for a Murdoch-owned company was in 1994, which was long before I knew anything about his papers methods. Since then, I have turned down every single job offer from a Murdoch-owned company. He's also, for some reason, Piers Morgan is also posting Hugh Grant's mugshot. A very, very handsome mugshot, by the way. Like, I don't know. Like, that was a very, very poor attempt to get back at Hugh Grant. I mean, at least Hugh Grant isn't a phone hacker. An alleged one, anyway. He's also saying that he would like to be in a fist fight with Hugh Grant. Yeah, that's all going down on Twitter if you want to go. I couldn't get the screenshots in time, but that's all going down if you want to go see that mess. Another mess that's going on is this. Kate suddenly popped out from nowhere. Throughout the entire disappearance era, which is what I'm now calling it, we couldn't get a clear picture of this lady. We got one in a car where she looked like, a Madame Tussauds dummy. One at a farm which didn't even look like her, and I still believe that wasn't her. We got the Frankenstein Photoshop disaster. We even got Willie on a scooter going into Windsor. We never get Kate papped. And then all of a sudden, here she pops up. FYI, I was slightly wrong. This wasn't on the day Harry got a payout. This was the day before, actually. It was the day before. So, but on the day that they knew this trial was coming, they thought that they could send Kate out the house to be papped. Or these pictures could have even been taken some days before, and they had them ready. Photos taken by Backgrid UK, Backgrid USA, by the way, who notoriously pap Harry and Meghan. The ones who actually chased them through New York, or at least the photographers who sold the pictures sold them to Blackgrid. They're notorious. I don't know what they were expecting with these photos. Harry got wall-to-wall coverage. You know, was this meant to cause a tsunami that we just forgot what Harry has accomplished? I think that's what they were aiming for. And I'm here to remind them that you are delusional. Also, People magazine, I'm posting this from David Beckham, says he's a huge royalist. Talks ties to King Charles and Prince William. This was definitely leaked to People. Sorry attempts at distractions that just won't work. In other words, they have nothing. Kate walking outside of the house is all they have. They have nothing. William, by the way, after being at an event for homeless people, decided to hop in a private jet and go to Monaco to watch the football. Priorities. This is how we're starting the year, at a football match. Yet he refuses to do any level of international travel to represent Britain and the royal family. And when he does, it's at the most basic, simple, let me show up and get my photo taken kind of events, like going to Notre Dame. He's happy to go to the reopening of cathedrals, to football matches, anything that's nice and comfy. Or for a cool $500 million a year. Great work if you can be born into it. Oi. Also, that Vanity Fair article that's been going around, they had Katie Nicholl, resident Royal Rotaract Katie Nicholl, on Entertainment Today, talking about that article. Entertainment Today has generally tried to position itself as a legitimate celebrity news outlet. And here they have a Royal Rotaract, all of whom have been exposed as bought and paid for liars, talking about an article in Vanity Fair that in itself is made up entirely of lies. Katie Nicholl, I didn't know this. Fun fact. They had a cocktail party for her to honor her book, William and Harry Behind the Palace Walls, which was published by Weinstein Books. Here she is, getting lots of love from Mr. Weinstein himself. And from Piers Morgan, who was also at that party. I mean, if this is who gets called to your party to honor you, that says something about you. Katie Nicholl, the alleged phone hacker, explains to Entertainment what no name, no face, anonymous source with no details of who, what, where, and when said about Harry and Meghan. Literally, that's what she sat and did in that Entertainment Today segment. Ridiculous. You know what annoys me about people like Katie Nicholl? She's actually a very pretty woman. She's a very pretty woman, and she has this like innocent baby face. Like if I met Katie Nicholl in person, I wouldn't know she was a witch. I wouldn't guess. She's accused of tapping into Prince Harry's personal mobile communications. And oh, sorry, publishing details that were potentially taken from personal mobile phone communications. Her articles were laden with references to private phone calls and text messages. Both Nicholl and the Mail on Sunday deny knowingly using illegally obtained data, but their stories contain the same phrases tabloid rivals used to disguise illegal acts, including hacking, according to Britain's leading private judge. This is who Entertainment Today wants on their show. What do you even say to this? Ugh, that photo of Weinstein looking at her, just ugh, gross people. Anyway, I think that's all I had to say. We'll see what comes of this so-called police investigation. Now the police have asked for transcripts. Okay. Okay, what's next? What do you plan on doing now? We always hear stories like this. Like, for example, with Dan Whatnot, that Scotland Yard was looking at allegations of this, that, and the third, and then there was nothing. Okay. Going to go to your say some thank yous. I'm gonna say some thank yous, and then we'll go to your comment. Barbara, thank you so much. Barbara, thank you for the 20 coffees. Keep up the good work and disregard the noise. I consider myself a member, even though I am one of those quiet listeners who has been here since the beginning. Thank you so much, Barbara. That is so generous of you. Very much appreciated. Educate you. So happy to educate you. I actually saw your name at the beginning and I was like, I feel like I haven't seen you for a while. Thank you so much, Educate You, for the super sticker. Thank you, Ernie, for the super sticker. Thank you, Carmen. And thank you, Sonia Johnson. Yeah, there's this new feature called goals. Where you can like create a goal for the live chat. So I was just testing it out. Like I don't think I'll use it. But thank you for all of you for the super chats and super stickers. Joan Garcia, thank you for being a silver squaddy for 16 months. Thank you. So we'll never see the damaging dots and hear the witnesses. Maybe. We'll see what else comes out. We'll see if anything actually comes out about this police report. Let's see. Okay, thank you so much, everyone. Very much appreciated. I'm gonna just finish off with your comments. Just give me one moment to actually plug in my laptop, or else it will go off mid-sentence. One sec. All right, let me scroll up through your comments and get through them. We are done, by the way. I just want to get through everyone's comments before I log off. But that's all I wanted to say for today in terms of stories. Piers Morgan's going to get his time. He will. Karma knows everyone's address. Let's see. Lottie, has anyone heard from William yet? Yeah, he sent Kate out the house to go get her eyes checked at the opticians, and this was apparently meant to be a moment that completely knocked Harry out of the news cycle. Kate going to the opticians. Pelena, you said, I think that because Harry got what he wanted, which was accountability and apologies, he accomplished his task. Yeah, I think so too. I think so too. I think that the universal habits way of getting karma to Murdoch and Rebecca Brooks and all the others, maybe perhaps in a different way. Lisa, you said maybe Jeremy Clarkson and Piers Morgan will be brought to task as well, and that awful lady, Colin Campbell. Oh, I think that Lady C, Colin Campbell lady, she's gonna get her time, her karma. Sorry, she started this fraudulent fundraiser with Thomas Markle, and I believe she's just taken all of the money. I saw one very popular Deranger troll complaining about this online the other day, actually. And it seems like she's just taken that money and basically fooled all of her followers. These people are crooks and liars through and through. Won't be finding any of that in our camp. And I don't know why their followers expect anything else. You're siding with the losing team. Barbara, you said Harry knows best. We have to understand there are lots of things that would have implicated his own family, so I believe he settled to save them too. Perhaps. Perhaps. Helen, you said, in British civil cases, you can only sue or go ahead against something that is denied or not admitted. That's the way the law works. Once they've admitted it, then the case is settled. Yeah. That is a good point. Yeah, Sharon, you said, unfortunately, once NGM apologized and admitted unlawful acts as well as offered compensation, UK courts would consider litigation over. also some legal people have stated. And that's also part of what makes their statement so significant. Yeah, right now people are just guessing how much the settlement is. We don't know for sure, and we probably never will know for sure. Kristen, you're saying, I think they're saying 10 million because it's the lowest 8-figure sum without knowing the actual figure. Yeah. Yes, the Daily Fail is next. Daily Fail, who, by the way, didn't they have some redundancies last year? Yes, more redundancies, please, for the Daily Fail. Make everyone redundant. 50 is fabulous. Indeed, it is. It's up to the government to take it further and do their job, especially after Harry's historic win. They knew he had the receipts and the royal family was going to be exposed. Sonia, you said, I agree with you. It's got to be much more millions than what is being talked about. I mean, they keep saying Harry and Meghan are broke. Harry and Meghan are broke. Like they're obsessed with whatever money Harry and Meghan have. That's of course faith. That is a very good thing to remind everybody of, that it is about the accountability, not the money. They've been trying to spin this into, oh, Harry just took the money and it was all about the money. It really wasn't. Harry wanted accountability. Lisa, you said, frankly, I'm glad they're living in California. People with this much hate could retaliate in other ways. England is not safe for the Sussexes. No, UK in general isn't safe for them. And I'm sure that even in California, where they're living, there are many safety measures being taken. Round the clock security for them and their family. There are some crazy people. I mean, it's not difficult to find Harry and Meghan's address. And there are some crazy people out there. I mean, you had this one troll group online, I forget their names, not that I even want to remember them, who were talking about doing bus tours around Harry and Meghan's neighborhood. Oh, these people, they need help. They need help. There was that one lady who flew from the UK to New York. Do you remember this? When Meghan was pregnant, was standing outside the hotel, did all that just to scream Charlotte and Duchess. How utterly sad are you? Like, who does this? All right. I think Marilyn, you said, good morning to you as well, that a government of a so-called democratic society could blatantly choose to ignore the criminal activity on the part of the press and its police is unfathomable. Indeed, but here we are. Here we are. Yes, Sonia, I think the police are just going to put on a show. They have to be seen to be doing something, and they will do absolutely nothing. Even papers and blogs within the legal profession are writing about this. They shocked as well. 50 is fabulous. She said that the police already had the evidence. They just did nothing, and they are still going to do nothing. This exactly. I feel like we need a whole independent body away from government, away from the police, away from the press to actually look at this. Because it's like, well, you go to the police were meant to be investigated by the government. The government called off the police investigation. The police are also meant to hold the government accountable. And then they also cover for powerful institutions like the royal family. So are the people that need to be investigated going to be investigating each other? What a mess. Helen, you said Piers Morgan and Rebecca Brooks allegedly have committed perjury. I hope they are investigated and criminal prosecutions take place and they are thrown in jail. Well, whatever was in that 30 million emails that got deleted was probably going to tell us a lot more. And we may never find out. How are you meant to know when the evidence was deleted? Heather, didn't Piers Morgan show up to court? I mean, he showed up in the original Leveson Inquiry. He hasn't been to a courthouse since. Karen M, there is video of Piers showing some actress about phone hacking and how people can get into people's phone. Yes, that is the video of him and Charlotte Church. I actually played that on the podcast once. The thing is, he does not admit to phone hacking in that video. He just tells her how phone hacking occurred. I actually do not believe that Piers Morgan ever physically hacked a phone, i.e., his fingers were on the button and listening to the voicemail. What I do believe is that he fostered a culture where that was allowed and where stories under his management as a news editor, stories via phone hacking were allowed to be published and it was encouraged. I believe he was a facilitator. Allegedly, for the lawyers listening. I don't believe he ever had his fingers on the buttons. And that's why I believe he's walking scot-free right now. He created the culture or facilitated the culture in which this happened. But I know the video you're talking about. He doesn't say he hacked a phone. He talks about how a phone can be hacked. Carmen, you said in the UK, can a person take a person to court for slander character like in the US? I believe you can, but I think isn't it more difficult in the UK? To be honest, I'm not very well versed in the law. I ain't never had to go to court for nothing, so I don't know how the law even works. Never even had a speeding ticket, and I wouldn't because I can't drive. I've got no idea how the law works. It's a good question though. If anybody has the answer, please let us know in the responses. Special Love, you said, I MP'd that Entertainment Tonight would use its word on there. So I also think we need to give a reality check. If you listening, let's boycott Entertainment and not give their coverage any clicks. Yeah. Or to be honest, all of these now are tabloid outlets, even the ones who were traditionally a lot more try to be more truthful or try to be more celebrity friendly, like Entertainment, E-News, People, they've all kind of gone down the gutter. Yeah, Piers Morgan is indeed a dumpster fire clown. Say it louder for the Piers Morgan fanboys in the back. I will never forgive the British public for allowing Piers Morgan to rebrand the way he did. And Simon Cowell also. Simon Cowell is also hugely responsible for this. Giving him a prime time seat on Britain's Got Talent, a talent show. They allowed Piers Morgan to judge a talent show. And that was a huge part of Piers Morgan's rebrand, making him likable. Allowing the nation's biggest tabloid rat to be on a family show. Just Piers Morgan is a prime example of somebody who fails up. He sucks at everything in life. Terrible journalist, terrible interviewer, no charisma, full of himself, but continues to be propped up because he's willing to suck up to devils like Murdoch. Ay. Leslie, I feel that Harry should write another book about his experience with the Sun and the Murdoch papers and some documents. I think that if there is another book coming, it could be about this. If it is true, because again, this was never confirmed by the Sussex camp, and if it wasn't confirmed by the Sussex camp, I'm not going to put it down as true. But the hearsay was that Harry's deal was for multiple books. So if there's going to be another book, I think this will be a good one to write. Thank you so much to Anne Hole for the 3 coffees. Much appreciated. Black Queen, you said, I think Harry should go the whole way with the case against the Daily Fail. Well, he's got a bit of extra change in his pocket to do so. Lucia, hello. It's been a minute since I've been on here. Welcome back. Harry's win is for himself, wife, children, and his mother. Indeed. Anything else is inconsequential. Tisa Tell said Harry did not sign an NDA. Hope he didn't. Oh, and Kate wasn't wearing her ring. That's interesting. She wasn't wearing Big Blue. Barry, you said after the apology and admission of unlawful actions, there was no point of going to the trial. Well, that's what Harry said he wanted, an apology and admission of unlawful actions. It looks like, from what Harry's lawyers said, there could be more to come. I guess we'll find out what that is. This police investigation that they're pushing for, likely the next thing. Leslie, you said, I was told by my UK friend that Harry did not settle. When the other side admitted their wrongdoing, there's no need for the case to go any further. The case is over since they admitted guilt. And you know that they would not have wanted to admit guilt. What they would have wanted was to just have a simple payout. For him to just shut up and go away. And I think it really says a lot about Harry's character that he managed to get a sorry for his mum too. Meanwhile, the other brother out here calling her paranoid. William Parker Bowles. Lewis Berry, you said, I don't care what the settlement was. I'm just happy it was more than what William received in secret. Yeah. Well, William has his own secrets to hide, remember? He has his own secrets to hide. So he was likely going to take whatever pennies and peanuts Murdoch threw at him. William doesn't want to be on the wrong side of Murdoch. Harry's laid all his ish on the table. He even told you about his romp in the park and his frozen peen. Harry has nothing to hide. He doesn't have to bend down to Murdoch. William and the others do. Yes, Anita. They had the case can go ahead because they admitted their culpability. Avid reader, why aren't the derangers worried about this 165 million to the sovereign grant is given the royal family for 2025? That's a good question. Any derangers listening want to answer that question? 175 million, and the best they can do with it apparently is send Kate out to go get her eyes checked. Sonia, same thing happened with Dan Wooten. Police did nothing. Indeed. He'll get his karma too. Christine, you said Britain lost the only family member with character and protected his mother's character. Indeed. Having character isn't a concern for that institution. Hoarding wealth and keeping their statuses. Yes, avid reader. Mafia bosses don't get their hands dirty. That's the case with Piers Morgan. Leslie, you said, I feel the 30 million deleted emails are backed up somewhere on a hard drive, stashed in someone's barn. I hope so. Oh, yes, and Piers Morgan's life stories show with celebrities too. That was ridiculous. Everyone who actually sat down with him should be ashamed. He had the connections and also the secrets that he can trade off, and that's why he's still sitting there right in the bosom of Murdoch. All right, folks, I'm gonna end it there. I think I've rambled and thrown shade and sipped tea enough for one day. This podcast actually ended up being a lot longer than I thought it would be. Okay. Enjoy the rest of your day, folks. Just a reminder, Invictus is indeed starting soon. Go support Squaddy Hooks and Rahini if you want yourself a new beanie, socks, keychain. Yeah, Megan show March 4th. So I will be unsubscribing from Netflix until then. I'm actually not subscribed to Netflix, by the way. I'm there only when there's something Sussex related on the show. Sorry, on their platform. As soon as Megan's show is over, I will be unsubscribing. Lauren, what did you miss? You missed everything. We're literally just ending now. You missed me rambling and ranting. I was really on fire today. It was one of those days. Yeah, you can join the replay gang, Lauren. All right, folks. I will see you tomorrow. Ciao. Happy Friday.